Empowering women in Japan, beyond local revitalization. Japan's rural regions are losing their female population at an alarming rate. But is the solution truly about creating spaces where women want to stay, or are we missing the bigger picture? Let's break it down. The Japanese government has rolled out a national strategy called the Basic Policy on Gender Equality and Empowerment of Women, aiming to reverse the trend of women abandoning regional areas for Tokyo. The plan emphasizes building communities where women feel empowered to live and work. Sounds progressive, right? But here's where it gets controversial. Is this initiative genuinely about gender equality, or is it a backdoor tactic to address depopulation and falling birth rates? Critics argue that framing women's participation as a tool for regional revitalization risks reducing their ambitions to mere demographic solutions. Why are women fleeing rural Japan in the first place? A Cabinet Office survey reveals the top reasons: lack of quality education, limited job opportunities, and a desire to escape parental or societal pressure. Interestingly, over 60% of women in Tokyo express nostalgia for their hometowns, compared to 50% of men. 13% even dream of returning. This suggests a latent potential for reverse migration, if the right conditions are created. But focusing on these gendered statistics feels reductive. After all, men face similar challenges in rural areas, yet the spotlight remains on women. Is it fair to single out their choices as the key to saving regional communities? The government's upcoming House of Councillors election promises to prioritize a regions chosen by young people and women, linking local strengths to national growth. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba calls depopulation and revitalization inseparable. But internationally, Japan's gender gap remains staggering. In the latest World Economic Forum report, Japan ranks 118th out of 148 countries, unchanged from last year. The political sphere, in particular, is a male-dominated fortress, with women holding just 10% of parliamentary seats. This isn't just a rural problem, it's a national crisis. Supporting women's participation shouldn't be a checkbox for regional revitalization. It must become a movement rooted in respect for their autonomy. Imagine a young woman in Osaka who dreams of starting a tech business but lacks mentors. Or a mother in Hokkaido who wants to balance work and family without stigma. These stories aren't just about economics, they're about human potential. And this is the part most people miss. Gender equality isn't a tool, it's a goal in itself. So, should we celebrate policies that attract women to rural areas, or demand systems that let them thrive anywhere they choose? Share your thoughts below. Let's debate. Is Japan's focus on women's return to regional areas a progressive step or a calculated demographic fix? Japan's political parties divided on gender issues ahead of election. *** warning sign. Japan's 2025 election exposes a deepening gender equality chasm ***. As Japan gears up for the pivotal House of Councillors election this Sunday, a stark reality has come to the forefront. The nation's major political parties are worlds apart on critical gender issues. But here's where it gets intriguing. The divide isn't just about policy nuances, it's a reflection of fundamentally different visions for Japan's societal fabric. ***, the Great Divide, dual surnames and beyond ***. At the heart of the controversy is the proposed selective dual surname system for married couples, a topic that has lain dormant for nearly 3 decades until its recent revisit in the parliamentary ordinary session concluding on June 22. This isn't merely a matter of nomenclature, it's a battleground for gender equality, with implications extending far beyond the realm of personal choice. ***, LDP's delicate balance on dual surnames ***. The Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, finds itself on the fence regarding the dual surname initiative. This cautious stance underscores the party's dilemma, balancing the desire to appear progressive with the need to maintain support from its more conservative base. But what does this indecisiveness signal for the future of gender reforms in Japan? ** A House divided. Implications for the upcoming election. As the nation prepares to head to the polls for the House of Councillors election, this rift over gender issues could significantly influence voter decisions. The question on everyone's mind: will the electorate prioritize traditional values or champion a more egalitarian Japan? And this is the part most people miss. The outcome of this election might not only decide the fate of the dual surname system, but also set a precedent for how aggressively Japan will pursue gender equality in the years to come. Controversy alert. Is the reluctance to adopt a selective dual surname system a justified preservation of cultural heritage, or is it a stark example of institutional sexism? We want to hear from you. Do you believe Japan's political parties are doing enough to address gender disparities? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Key takeaways. Japan's political parties are deeply divided over gender issues, including the proposed dual surname system for married couples. The LDP's ambivalence on the matter highlights the challenges of appeasing both progressive and conservative constituents. The upcoming House of Councillors election could be a turning point for gender equality reforms in Japan. Sources. News from Japan. https://www.nippon.com/en/articlist.html?f _NCF-category&s=politics. Jiji Press. Copyright the Jiji Press, Limited. Japan's Womenomics fails to shine. An economy in crisis. Japan's Womenomics push ages terribly as economy struggles. Sometimes, it's the pressing election issues that no one is talking about that matter most. Especially when the omission is by design, like the role of women in Japan's economy. I'm as disappointed as anyone to have to point this out 12+ years on since the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, returned to power pledging to prioritize gender equality. What was it that then Prime Minister Shinzo Abe promised to do for half of Japan's population? Make them a shine. In December 2012, the late Abe propelled the LDP back to power with a bold-sounding revival plan. Never mind that it was merely a list of things Japan should have done years earlier. It's better to be late to cut bureaucracy, modernize labor markets, increase productivity, and reanimate Japan's innovative animal spirits than never to act. A key strategy to achieve those last two goals was empowering women. All available research shows that nations and companies that best utilize their female workforces are the most vibrant, efficient, and prosperous. Any report from the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, or investment banks like Goldman Sachs will attest to that. It's no coincidence that the LDP called their plan Womenomics. The word is believed to have been coined by then Goldman Sachs economist Kathy Matsui, whose gender research made her a local celebrity. Abe cited her work when he pledged to increase the role of women in business and politics. Sadly, though, such talk ended up being a shiny object. In 2012, Japan ranked 101st in the World Economic Forum's Gender Equality Index. Today, it's 118th out of 148 countries, a 17-place backslide. And Sunday's election offers its own metric on the dimming hopes for gender parity in the third biggest economy. In upper house elections, women make up fewer than 30% of candidates. As Jiji Press reported earlier this month, of the 522 people who initially filed candidacies, just 152 were women, or 29.1%. This is shy of the LDP's 35% target for female lawmakers. In fact, in terms of women holding political office, Japan trails Saudi Arabia by 17 places, according to the Geneva-based Inter-Parliamentary Union. But here's where it gets controversial. Why is Japan failing to make such an obvious fix to its underperforming economy? After all, Goldman Sachs has long argued, Japan's gross domestic product would increase by as much as 15% if the female labor participation matched that of men. One reason for the foot dragging is that the power with Japan's patriarchy is strong. Economic history knows few examples of those with power giving it up willingly. Typically, change is demanded by the masses in ways the ruling class can't ignore. And virtually no one thinks the LDP, which has led Japan with only 2 brief interruptions since 1955, is going to lose all power on Sunday. Another problem is that Tokyo establishment is much better at treating the symptoms of a problem than addressing it. Abe was far from the first modern leader to latch onto gender disparities as an election issue. Back in the early 2000s, then Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi also made a play for fielding more female candidates. But Abe, like Koizumi before him, mostly prodded the Bank of Japan to cut rates to, or near, zero and leave them there indefinitely. As all that free money boosted the economy, there was less urgency to do the hard work of upending the status quo. Yet the last dozen years have been particularly frustrating. The LDP had broad-based public support to level playing fields and smash glass ceilings. And then it just pivoted to other pursuits, leaving Japan quite the gender equality outlier in Group of 7 circles. This has also been a lost period of lawmakers appearing to understand that the lack of progress plays a role in so many of Japan's biggest challenges. Take Japan's demographic trajectory, one that worries global debt investors wary of the developed world's biggest debt burden. A key reason Japan's birth rate falls year after year to new record lows is Japan Incorporated's poor track record on work-life balance policies. This has many women delaying childbirth. Then there's the informalization boom that relegates more and more jobs to a non-regular status. These gigs pay less, offer less upward mobility and come with less job security. And the vast majority of them go to women. What does Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba have to say about all this? Not much. How about new ideas to empower half of Japan's 124 million people? Crickets. In fact, one of the most vital repairs Japan needs this election season is among the last things anyone wants to talk about. And this is the part most people miss. The lack of progress in gender equality is not just a social issue, it's an economic one. It's a missed opportunity for growth and innovation. It's a failure to tap into a vast pool of talent and potential. So, what do you think? Is Japan on the right track with its Womenomics push, or is it time for a more aggressive approach? Let's discuss in the comments.